That's all she wrote. Henry Cavill loved The Flash. Henry Cavill loved The Flash, which makes everything I ever said null and void about The Flash. You guys should run out and see this film and automatically love it. As a DC fan, you have to lay down your loyalty to DC and absolutely cherish this movie because Henry Cavill loved this movie. All right, guys, we're going to talk about that story. How ridiculous is this? We're going to talk about who came out and talked about Henry Cavill loving The Flash. But let's look at a couple of other things first. Now, this is something that was interesting that came across my plate from Fandom Wire. It says Patty Jenkins says that she rejected Warner Brothers' Wonder Woman 1854 script because it was too dark and that women don't want to see Wonder Woman chopping heads off. How sad is that? We could have had an epic warrior film with Wonder Woman set in the past, but Patty Jenkins didn't want to go with that. This could be why Wonder Woman 3 was ultimately rejected, was because she didn't want to go with it. Now, what's funny is it said it was too dark. Everybody's been complaining that DC has been too dark to begin with. So why would Warner Brothers Discovery want a dark film? And I'm going to talk about a couple of comments people have made and some revelations about some ridiculous things that people have said in my comments about DC movies in general here in a few minutes. Now, this is what always gets me. And everyone points to Batman versus Superman as the ultimate argument about how much money a superhero film should make. So this person, AJ Schaefer, said, so Flash will make $6 billion, right? It has 3 Batmen, 2 Flashes, Aquaman, Supergirl, Superman, Nick Cage, and Chris Reeve. Grow the F up. This is the logic of those who are anti anything that happened prior to Aquaman. Seems like as soon as Aquaman ended, oh man, everything was great with DC. They started going in the right direction. But the fact is, fewer people went to the theater. Fewer people were paying for tickets. Less merchandise is being sold. People were less interested. Yeah, they made more of a profit because they had ultra small budgets, but you did not have people going and flocking to the movies. But according to their argument, Batman versus Superman had Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman and should have made $1 billion right off the bat because it had the 3 most popular superheroes in history. Now, if you took Batman versus Superman and actually adjusted it for inflation, it made well over $1 billion. Way more people were going to the movies, and this is with a historic drop in its second weekend. More people went to see Batman versus Superman than pretty much any superhero film being released right now. And this argument is ridiculous. So our movie news came out and said, very good point. The Batman versus Superman argument that because it has 3 popular superheroes, so it must have made $1 billion is so stupid. And they are absolutely right. It's a ridiculous statement. There are no movies right now. Very few films are making over $1 billion right now. One of those, was the new Top Gun movie, Top Gun Maverick, and it's because it definitely resonated with nostalgia, bringing in old people plus a newer audience. And this is the thing that DC and Warner Brothers Discovery is not doing. They don't care about the older group, the people that got them to where they are, that got them all the way through Aquaman. They're basically saying, screw all those people. We just want new people to come into the theater. We're going to talk about the adaptation of The Flash here in a few minutes. Now, this is something I called out back when this came out. You can go back and watch my old videos. I told everybody she was not there with them. I could tell with the way that scene was done, it looked funky. And Zachary Levi did confirm that Gal Gadot's scheduling conflicts, shooting something else, forced Shazam! Fury of the Gods production to use a body double for Wonder Woman, and they just put her face in there. I think they did a great job seamlessly cutting all that together. They certainly did not. It looked a little funky. You could tell that was her face, but the body movements and everything did not reek Wonder Woman. And to compensate for that, to get people to focusing on the way she looked, they used the Wonder Woman music blaringly loud in that segment. to get people all excited. And if you get them distracted by the music, they won't notice the CGI, which was kind of interesting. And I didn't hate it, but you could tell she wasn't there. And I called that out a long time ago. But everyone said, no, she was there. And I said, no, she was not. So here's the big news of this particular video. Sasha Calle says she talked to both Henry Cavill and Melissa Benoist for advice for The Flash. Calle adds that Henry Cavill has already seen the film and loves it. Oh my gosh, go love The Flash. Do you realize how ridiculous this all sounds? Now, Henry Cavill has not come out and publicly said anything. This is something that Sasha Calle has come out and said he said. Okay, it's hearsay. This would not hold up in a courtroom. Could it be true? Oh, it absolutely could, and maybe he did. But you know what? People, do you really think Henry Cavill, who loved playing Superman, is going to come out and tell the studio that he was a part of, oh, I hated this film. You guys shouldn't go see it because it's not part of the Snyderverse. It's not part of what we were doing, so you guys should hate it. How ridiculous is that? Do you really think if he didn't like the movie that he's going to come out and actually say it? Just like Ben Affleck has no desire to work with Warner Brothers Discovery, but he wasn't being a dick about it. If you go read what these people say, they're keeping their options open to possibly return in the future. And I'm not saying that the Snyderverse is going to return people, okay? That's not what I'm telling you. But they're leaving the door open for these guys to return at some point in the future, and they are not willing to burn bridges. So do you really think he's going to sit there and say he didn't like this movie? His review or his feelings on the film don't trump mine. They don't trump yours. They don't trump anybody's. Everybody has an opinion. This channel is about my review on these films. Now, everybody's coming out and saying, I hated the movie, The Flash. I didn't. I gave it 3 stars, maybe 2.5 to 3 stars. Did I love it? No. Did I hate it? No. But I will tell you this. It is one of the most overhyped films that has ever been released. Warner Brothers is desperate to get people to go see this film. And the numbers did come out, and they are tracking to do about $70 to $74 million on opening weekend. Personally, I hope it does better than that, okay? I think this is going to resonate with the general audience. I do think it will. It has a crap ton of humor. It is the funniest DC film that has been released to date, and I do think it's going to resonate with some people. I think my wife is going to love it. But where does that leave the fans? Ultimately, is it going to draw in the fans that are willing to go see this movie 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a dozen times? No, it's not. This is in no means a faithful adaptation of the Flashpoint storyline. In fact, it's just the opposite. It is a complete bastardization of the Flashpoint storyline. And the overall arcing story and the point of the film, I think, is somewhat lost in the special effects and the way they threw the end together. It doesn't feel genuine in any way, shape, or form. That's my review on the film. Some people are going to love it, though, and I did not hate the movie. I did enjoy what was there, but I'm eager to see the final product because everybody's telling me that it's not the finished product. They told us it wasn't the finished product, and I'm eager to go see what the finished product is going to be, and hopefully it does make the film better. But it is not the best film I've ever seen. It's not even in the top 10 superhero films. It is way overhyped, and they've got these actors and people coming out claiming that they liked it in an attempt to sell tickets. Okay? Everyone's going to have to be the judge of that on their own. My opinion does not trump yours. Yours does not trump mine. People coming in telling me how I should think is ridiculous considering it's my channel. Now, last video, I specifically asked for the help from the viewers about this supposed meeting that happened between James Gunn, Peter Safran, and Mike DeLuca. I never said the meeting happened. I never said it happened. I wasn't telling people that it happened. You should see the shitstorm that happened on Twitter of them saying I'm spreading misinformation. I am not spreading information. I was asking for help to corroborate that story because I couldn't find anything solid on it. So to sit there and say that I'm spreading disinformation is spreading disinformation. You guys who are so anti-Snyder, you guys, I think, have a problem and should probably get therapy, okay? Because I am by no means strictly a Snyder fan. I loved everything. There wasn't a single terrible movie to me all the way up through Aquaman. After that, the quality and the direction took a complete and utter nosedive. Prior to that, I enjoyed everything, even the original Suicide Squad. I wish I could see more. Now, people are going to come out and completely bash Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad, telling you guys that these are the worst projects ever created to comic book movies. And they weren't. We never got to see the real version in theaters. No one is ever going to know just how well Batman vs. Superman would have done had you released the full version. Same with Suicide Squad. We haven't seen the full version of Suicide Squad, and I pray that one day we get to see that final film because it meshed with the whole storyline leading up to Justice League. So a lot of people are also talking about The Flash erasing the Snyderverse. It does not erase the Snyderverse, people. It does not erase everything that came before by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not going to tell you guys how Batman explains how the multiverse works, but I guarantee you Barry still has the memory of Ben Affleck as Batman and Henry Cavill as Superman. Because of the film and going into a different universe does not mean that that stuff that came before is gone. It just means he's on a different strand. He could always get back to the timeline that he was on. And I think it would be kind of dickish if he didn't try to get there at some point. So this whole plan B that Warner Brothers Discovery is talking about, I am convinced that they're leaving it out for the Flash to be able to go back and correct everything if things don't go the way they think it's going to go. And I think the way based on everything that's tracking, they're going to have to make those DCU movies at a cheap price for a cheap cost if they're going to want to make the profit that they expect to make. Because the issue is, and I will say this until the ends of the earth, if you do not get the fans on board, you are not going to sell merchandise. You're not going to sell more comics. You are hurting the audience. The more tickets you sell helps everything. There's a whole ecosystem that goes into the marketing and the promotions that go around these films. And if you don't have people excited about it, they're not going to be buying t-shirts. They're not going to be buying toys or video games or the comic books. So there's a chain reaction. And the fact is, it's a fact, way more people bought tickets all the way up through Aquaman than are buying tickets to go see these superhero films today. So everybody needs to get off their high horse and stop talking about this movie made that, this profited this did better than this. The facts are more people went and saw these films prior to Aquaman than they are now because people are pissed off. They're tired of the studios butchering everything and changing everything. This reboot was a huge mistake until you finish the storyline that was already started. So we're going to see with The Flash coming up, and I will have one more short video later. There's time running out on something you guys need to be aware of, and I'm going to discuss that in my next video later today. I do appreciate it. If you like the video, please hit the like button, share it, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and you will be notified as I have new videos go up.